Hello and welcome back everybody to Front Row Racing's World Championship Reserves round 19 in Mexico. Video part 2, because unfortunately there was a problem with F1 and the lobby as well at the same time as when Jack unfortunately had his game crash, a feature we've seen a lot on Codemasters this season. It's taken a little bit of time to just inform the drivers of the grid order and get them all informed of what they're going to need to do in a moment. So what we're going to do is, obviously I've got Lord JB with us still in Front Row Racing GP, and they are still our main commentator. I'm just going to quickly run through what we're going to do here. We're going to send the drivers back to the racetrack, and there's going to be a short qualifying session. However, that session is only for the drivers to put their setups on. And then retire from the session. We're going to go then onto the race, so there will be a formation lap, that's just to give us a bit of time, but then at the start of the race we are under safety car conditions effectively. The drivers will have 2 laps to get themselves into position, into their correct position, and then once they are in the correct position I will retire. That will give the drivers the information to say, okay, when we get to the safety car line, race is on. And hopefully they'll have checked the Facebook page previously about where the safety car line is here in Mexico. So that's the current situation. Lord JB is back on the live stream with us, and JB, I mean, without swearing, you've just seen the behind the scenes side of trying to get a safety car restart done in its all its glory, and what are your thoughts on how much of a pain in the backside that is?
Well, right now I'm trying to find out where the safety car line is, so no, it clearly added a lot of pressure to these two gentlemen, and I honestly don't know how these two gentlemen do it with such speed. They are so used to it. So immense kudos to you guys. Thank you for getting us back up.
I've just realised something that I didn't do, and thankfully I've just checked it. I forgot to put the weather on clear, but thankfully it's a sunny race anyway. Yeah, I mean, in the World Championship and the World Series, because we use the championship format, if we have to restart before the race starts, it's not too much of a problem. However, what Lord JB has just witnessed from behind the scenes is what would have to be done if a safety car restart is needed once a race has begun, like when you're a few laps into it. Okay, so the drivers are now retiring from the session, and Jack, you'll need to do the same as well, and so will I. And like I say, this is just an opportunity for the drivers to put their setups on the cars. Obviously, it's going to give us a random grid for the start of the race, so that's something that JB, GP and myself are going to have to be aware of, because we are going to have to try and make sure that we don't get in the way, but our rules will still apply. We're going to move forward in a straight line and let the drivers go beyond us. It's up to the drivers to get themselves into position, and the usual ruling would be, especially in a league event, is if you're involved in a collision while forming up the grid, then it doesn't mean that we restart again. It'd be a case of, well, you'd have to go to the pit, sort out your damage and continue on. If it means you're out of the race, then unfortunately that would be the situation that we are in. So just to let you know, JB, you're going to be in 6th place on the grid, so I'm going to have to be a little bit cautious at the start. Back, and yes. I'm almost right in the middle.
What I'll do is I'll just put myself into ghost mode when I... That makes sense.
At the start of the race, though, that doesn't work, because as soon as you hit pause, this is one of the reasons why we kind of need to be moving. As soon as you hit pause, it'll bring out a yellow flag, meaning you'll be giving illegal overtakes to people that are just trying to get into position on a formation lap. Now, illegal overtakes while getting into position is something that the drivers may get, but in a proper league format, in the World Championship or the World Series, then that would be a situation where those drivers would be able to appeal those penalties after the race. So just to remind you, Jack, when the formation lap is about to begin, we can just hit pause, and we can have a look at the race director and have a look at the tyres that the drivers have selected, because this could be a little bit of an interesting session.
I mean, the real question is, has people stayed on their tyres?
Well, something I've noticed is Hindle he's opted to go for the medium tyres. I know he's near the back of the grid anyway. Currently he's sat in 5th, but obviously that'll change underneath the safety car. But yeah, Hindle on the medium tyres.
Yes. Could that mean he's going long and attempt to... How long would the medium tyres last, as you have all the information? That's a better question.
Okay, it's a 36 lap race. They will not do all of it. They'll only do about 21, 22 before you're risking punctures. So 20 laps, I would say, would be comfortable on them.
And then possibly go on to supers? Well, certainly go on to supers.
Well, the super softs would only do 9 laps, which would leave him short of his 36. He'd probably go on to the softs because they're about 15 laps. So 20 and 15 is 35, so he needs to really do one extra lap somewhere on one of the sets of tyres.
Yeah.
So one stop can be tricky here if the temperature is high. That's why I was saying earlier on that we may see some 2 stops, even with the guys having minimal tyre wear because of the safety car start.
So just to let the viewers know, we will be doing a rolling start. So we're going Le Mans on this one, all in celebration of Le Mans happening this weekend, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is one of the reasons why it's important that the drivers, especially for this season we've just done, are aware of the sort of Stewards Guide pictures that are put out. Because, okay, in the World Championship of the World Series this season, we haven't needed to do a proper restart. Sort of part way into a race, but if we did need to, any driver sat there on race day going, well, where's the safety car restart line, would kind of show that it's not something that they've checked and had a look at. But I mean, I suppose this season it could be forgiven because compared to previous seasons it doesn't happen as much.
Oh, it's just like normal F1 then.
Oh, in the non-reserve leagues, I should say, we're actually quite fortunate that we use championship mode. So actually, we need to do a restart at the start of the race. Then yeah, we are put into good slots with current tyres and weather, and not too much of a problem.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things as well is as the drivers get ready, I've just been hit and I've been disqualified from the session, so I can't retire, unfortunately, folks, because I've been hit and disqualified.
So then I'll be really tired of you then.
Okay, in that case then, well, one downside to that, I haven't got the grid order, unfortunately.
Many people are going
yes.
very slowly, like Tarjan off the grid, he's going very slowly. So do you think he's waiting for a... Wait, that would put him a lap down to let the leaders go past, wouldn't it?
Well, I'm not entirely sure that Danny Rowton has necessarily got the message about a safety car restart, because he has absolutely bolted off the line and just driven off into the distance, which, no offence, is a little bit daft, really. How are you supposed to do a safety car restart if one of the guys just drives off into the distance? It's something that used to really, really annoy me. The difficulty of this situation is it makes a mockery of the situation and leaves you with one of 2 options. One, you restart again and it's going to have to take time to do that, or you just say, it's all right, guys, carry on. But it's not really fair to do that on everybody else either.
Because Curly was on pole. He worked hard to get onto pole, and I didn't see where he was put in the random grid, but it's not fair on him or the new guy. Forgive me for not remembering his name.
The other thing as well is, I mean, this is going to cause confusion for everybody else, because they're sat there thinking, well, I should be in this position, not in this position, and instead, that's not. Their positions are going to be wrong. So I am just going to send Danny a message.
I really am considering. I don't know why I was considering midway through saying, "Oh, should I take him out?" No.
Well, JB, just to let you know that you'll be good to retire.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway,
I'll retire in a second. Just having. I don't know why I'm having so much fun driving around here at 5 miles an hour. Right, I'll retire now. No, not that one. Sorry.
Yeah, don't hit quit.
That was almost that was an instinctive reaction. When I get annoyed with an online lobby, I will quit. Oh, immediately on board with Danny.
Yeah, I think
yeah, I am lagging a wee bit off him.
I mean, to catch me up. You know what's funny? I actually got a drive-through penalty that I need to serve as well.
Because what we've got now is we've got a situation where Tarjam is in the correct position. I believe, and it should be Curly Whirly behind him. But now we've got Jamie James, who's not in the correct position.
Sorry,
and this is one of the problems of somebody just driving off into the distance. Like Jamie James might be sat there thinking, well, I'm supposed to be in third place, I'm in third place, what's the problem? Well, the problem is that somebody has driven off into the distance and made a bit of a mess of the situation.
Well, just to say, Dave, you you gave Tarzan a little bit of a up there, because he's only in second place. He's meant to be in second place, with Curly on pole.
Suggestion?
Go.
Yep.
I suggest at the end of the next lap we get going, and if Danny is supposed to go off the track? No. That's what he had. I was going to say, yeah, if we get going anyway, and if Danny ends up winning the race, we don't call him to the podium.
Okay. Well, are all the drivers in the right position apart from Danny?
Well, they're all looking pretty much ready to go, to be fair. But DP, could you confirm that they're pretty much where they need to be in order?
Oh, well, Breaking Clays has just overtaken Curly. Oh, they've gone for the restart already. Oh,
I'm gonna call a stop.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. This is an absolute shambles. And this is one of the reasons why there's rule books in place. I mean, and why when you're doing like safety car restarts and stuff like that, time is taken beforehand. Say, right, guys, this is what we're doing. So this is going to really annoy everybody. JB, don't end the broadcast. We'll keep the broadcast on.
Okay.
But this is where it's a case of you'll need to retire from the session, though.
I am retired. Do you want me to leave the lobby?
You need to quit the session. Yeah,
right.
This is a situation where the responsibility is on the drivers to be aware of the rules and the situation. And as admins, you can do the best that you can and say, right, okay, here's the qualifying order. This is what you need to do. This is what you're going to do. Now you need to go and do it. And unfortunately, if the drivers don't go and do that, you end up in a situation like we've just had there, where it's like, oh, what's he doing? Now, he may be unaware of what he's just done, but that's where it is down to the drivers to be aware of the situation. I mean, surely, wouldn't it have made sense to him to go, well, I wasn't on pole position or whatever, I've just driven off into the distance. So, yeah, a little bit of a frustrating situation there, unfortunately. And the even more frustrating part of it is it'll annoy every driver on the grid who's sat there going, hang on a minute, what's going on? What's happening? Okay, GP, JB, I'm going to send you new invites.
Okay.
I'm just messaging again.
I'd just like to say, on the record, Breaking Clays, I know he's a championship driver and we're not really bothered about him, but him listening to the 2 laps, he did 2 laps, and then he went off. What it was meant to do.
The other thing is though, the other one of the difficulties with that is I was hit on the grid before the lights went out, which disqualified me. So the instruction that GP gave of when DP retires, that's your green light effectively, has gone out of the window because somebody has driven into me and hit me.
It does say retired from the session, doesn't it? So that might have been why Danny went off.
But I mean, the thing is, it's a quite simple rule though. You've got 2 laps under safety car conditions, not 1 lap, not half a lap, not go at the start. You've got 2 laps under safety car conditions. The race will not start before those 2 laps.
Yeah. Well, this gives us time to talk about the question of the day again. What was it? How many Mexicans have started a race in Formula 1? Am I correct?
No, not how many Mexicans.
How many Mexican drivers?
How many race? No,
how
many race starts has there been by Mexicans?
So, in theory, that could mean, I'm just going to discuss this with myself. If you want to jump in, Dave, as well, that's fine. In theory, that could mean if a Mexican driver didn't qualify, but they start the race, then that could still be cast.
If they started the race, they've started the race, yeah.
So what you said?
Be a driver, not a diver.
Yeah, speech impediment. Dave, am I correct in saying you said 5?
Yeah, I wasn't really listening to the question. I'm just going to invite the driver, so
Yeah.
bear with me a few moments.
Now, I'm not googling this. I really want to Google it, but because I'm genuinely interested in this one. But no, it's a questionable one because much like for me, it seems that most drivers come from the base places. No, this sounds awful as I say it, but you mainly see drivers from Germany, Spain, Finland more recently, Britain, and sometimes America. You don't get as many more global drivers. I mean, we've had one Polish driver, which is Kubica. He was a good driver, and he might still be a good driver if he returns. We've had an Indonesian driver with Haryanto. I'm not going to say he was bad. He was all right for the car he was in, but you know, he made his way up there. Have we had a Portuguese driver?
I think we have, but I'd have to Google it.
Yeah. I mean, I remember reading somewhere from memory there was a Portuguese driver. I'd like to also state it for the record. I've only really just got into F1 since 2013, but I have watched it in the past since 2005. Mainly as my family were major F1 fans, and I would just run into the room. Who's leading? Jenson Button. Okay, run back out. And that's also part of my love for Jenson Button. But we've had several Japanese drivers.
Yeah, all of this, this what you say now about different drivers, you're just avoiding the question of the day.
I'm still thinking about it. Christ, it is messing with my brain because I want to say a low number, but yeah, I'm sort of thinking it might be a trick one, saying it's higher than what we think.
Well, first thing you've got to think of is how many Mexican drivers has there been?
See, Dave made a point in the original broadcast, which was Hermano Rodriguez, was he an F1 driver or was he just a Mexican racing driver?
Was there anybody known by that name? By Hermanos Rodriguez?
Oh, now you're just teasing me. Oh, God.
I don't know. I don't know of a Hermanos Rodriguez. I know of a Pedro Rodriguez, and I know of a Ricardo Rodriguez, but I don't know of a Hermanos. So where's that name
doesn't
come from?
sound like a name, does it?
Is it a place?
See, it sounds to me, and this is mainly because I played Assassin's Creed, but it sounds like it should be near Havana in the Caribbean. But yeah, I don't know. I'm genuinely stumped by this one. It's a while since I haven't just gone a random guess straight away because I'm trying to think about this. Right, we know of 3. Well, I know of 2. Gutierrez. Christ, who's the other one?
Steve, can you send Tarjam an invite into the
Yeah.
please?
Yeah, there's a few of the World Championship drivers that may not be coming back in, which may just complicate things that a little bit more.
You know what, we could just go, right, Sodom, 1 lap quali, off you go, do the race. Because if they carry on the way they have been doing, we could be here all night.
I know, and I don't sit here for my benefit, it's for theirs.
Yeah. I've got my makeup to do,
I seem
so...
to be missing 3 drivers off my...
Yeah.
Yeah, we're missing 3.
We're 10th here, won't be back in.
No, I mean 3 drivers that I've not sent an invite to.
Alright, I've sent one to Tarjam.
I'm still stumped on that question of the day. Christ. Dave said 5. I'm going to do lower. I'm going to say 4. Yes, 4.
Right, okay. Right, Steve, you were saying the WC driver's not going to be coming back in.
Some may not be. I know that 10th here is definitely not. I cannot see James on the board. And I was just trying to look at the messages. 10th here did message me, saying he won't be back in.
Okay. Well, with that causing confusion to the grid, and with this being the reserves event, I'm going to recommend that we do put it on a one-lap qualifying, rather than trying to form up necessarily the new grid. 'Cause it's going to take time, so we'll do it that way.
So that's
One
a
lap quali.
one shot.
Yeah. So if you want to just inform the drivers of that, Steve.
How would I do this? Would I retire once we get into the garage?
No, I reckon we just sit there looking at the timing screen. If they wanted us to
You can't in a
show them
one
on
shot.
track, then they should have. Oh, true. Yeah, you just have to retire them.
Yeah, I have to retire, and I don't think I'll be able to see it. Well, I might be able to see people, but yeah. Just say, ladies and gentlemen, it is not my fault. Hopefully, it isn't my fault. we were having a chat before the stream, and we were not taking bets on what would happen, but Dave did say that something bad would happen, and I immediately said, "Oh, so it's gone from Steve having a sneeze on the microphone to, well, the current predicament we are in."
Yeah, I mean, we did say to you before, and Jack, didn't we, that something will go wrong tonight. It's guaranteed to do so. It happened with Bleeding Sunrise. Something's bound to happen. There's only so many things you can put in place and prepare for. To a degree, though, the drivers have to take responsibility of what they do out there on the track. And when it comes to things like doing a safety car restart and stuff like that, they've got to approach it properly. I might sound a little bit like a grumpy old man at the moment, but it only takes one person to do something that knocks the whole system out of whack, and then you've got drivers thinking, "What's going on here? What's happening?" And it puts the whole thing into a mess.
Yep, we've got drivers saying, "Come on then, let's hurry up, get on with it." I think they're all getting a bit tired of waiting. So
Yeah.
get the the short qualifying onto, is it one lap, and then we'll get going. And we'll have some fun. Some of the drivers that I've just noticed may have not read these messages. Well, they're going to be in for a shock when they get a one lap qualifying. But at this point, we're just here to have some fun at the end of the day, and we've been delayed, so we're doing things a little bit different. We're going to do the one lap qualifying. Who knows? We might see Davey off on pole.
I don't think somehow if people are looking for drivers for next season up in the World Championship, I don't think they'll be counting this race's results.
Quite possibly not. But what it has done, with the WC drivers not being in it, it does mean it's a full-on WCR drivers only event.
Not quite. Not quite. There are a couple in there. Breaking Plays is still there. And there was another one, I can't remember who it was.
Coming to get you.
Coming to get you.
That's it. Okay. Yeah.
Which also gives me a good chance because I know the rest of the drivers now, so I won't mess up.
Well, for now, we'll just say Breaking Plays as a reserve driver and Coming to Get You as a reserve driver.
This is just a race. We're not bothered anymore.
We are bothered.
Well, yes.
We're bothered. Am I bothered? Am I bothered though?
Are you right there, Catherine Tate?
Yeah. But am I bothered though?
Face, bothered. Bothered face.
Okay, just if anyone's wondering what the hell this is that's just tuned in. This is Front Row Racing World Championship Reserves. We've had a bit of an awkward night with game crashing and disconnections and God knows what. And this is our final attempt at getting this race underway, so because it's the final attempt, we're going to do a one-stop quali. We've got no idea how we're going to spectate this, but we'll see what happens on the timing screen. And it'll be all about the race.
Yeah, 25 seconds to drivers on track.
Yep, they will be on the track very shortly.
Just to explain a one-shot qualifying, if nobody's seen it, which I should hope people have, because it's the main choice of online races. If you're just doing public lobbies, all the drivers will go out at once, but they won't be able to see each other. So they're just going and they're trying to do the best lap they can on their own.
Yeah, I mean, we've had it in the past before when it comes to safety car restarts, people suggesting things like, oh, why don't you just do a one-shot quali to get everybody in the correct order? Well,
Well,
again,
it's not.
working out that timing of people would be so difficult that, again, if one person gets it slightly wrong, then it all goes out of out of whack, so to speak. I mean, now the interesting thing for this the one-shot quali style session is, Jack, you may be able to flick on to Curly Whirly, who on my screen is currently sitting as fighting for pole position in this one-shot quali session.
I think he's fighting with Tarjan. So I will.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, I'm looking at the race directors. Kane Ander is now up to second. It's kind of live updating. Tarjam is now second, Kane Ander third, coming to get you in fourth, Hindle fifth, David Harp in sixth. So Curly Whirly still got the provisional pole, and coming to get you has just jumped up to fourth. Danny Relton is seventh, and it's all getting very tight. But there are some drivers out there on soft tyres and some on super soft, so that's very interesting. And
Yes.
coming to get you has just dropped back down into seventh place. So Curly Whirly still on provisional pole, coming around the last
On board
corner.
with Curly Whirly now.
And
A safety car line there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Curly Whirly crosses the line. That'll be provisional pole with Jamie James, not Jamie James. It's Tarjam in second, Kane Ander third, Dave the Harp in fourth. Good qualifying from Dave the Harp. Fifth, Danny Relton. Sixth, Hindle. Seventh, coming to get you. Eighth, DP. Well done, DP. Ninth, 10th, RDB. 11, JB.
Hello.
12th, Breaking Plays got disqualified. How interesting is that?
Probably
Very
crashed.
interesting. Okay, formation lap is on, but what I want to say, Jack, is we won't do the leave session and come back. Okay, so
Yeah.
what we'll get you to do, being the main broadcaster, is you'll have to start the race as you would as a normal co-commentator. It does mean we're going to miss the start of the race, but we are going to let the drivers head off down to turn one, and then you can retire and we can catch up with the action from there.
Okay.
It's just to try and stop any further goings-on. But we're ready now for the start of the
race. Hopefully.
hopefully.
Yes. Can't be too hopeful though. Well, no, we can be
Hopefully, yeah.
too hopeful. But
We can be hopeful for the start of Full Road Racing World Championship Reserves Part 55.
so
Just to
the
let you know,
race.
how about sorry, go on, carry on.
The race strategy from 11th, where I am, upwards, is super soft to lap 8, soft tyre to lap 22, then soft tyre again to lap 36.
Yes.
I can-
And the medium tyres around here, they are not very nice through the second sector, the medium tyres, unless they're at the perfect running temperature. And if it's too hot, like it looks like it is today, they don't get into their working temperature.
Well, saying that interestingly, just looking at the tyres now, Breaking Clays, though is a WC driver, has gone on to wear the medium tyres. So is he taking a risk, or is he going to take a test for next week's event?
He's probably testing, but something I was going to say, you know, if I was driving in this event, what I would have done is gone, you know what, I'm not going to set a lap time.
And just winged it.
Not
Right.
necessarily winged it, but I could have then gone with a brand new set of tyres that could effectively give me an extra 2 laps on my strategy.
Now, that could be what Coming to Get You did and Breaking Clays, so they both didn't set lap times.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking with Coming to Get You, because obviously you set a lap time, you're going to be in the top 10 in this event, unfortunately. So if by not setting a lap time, you'd get a free tyre choice. So it's possible that Coming to Get You may have actually changed his tyres from the softs. But after an awkward, difficult start to the World Championship Reserves event, we saw a fantastic qualifying session.
Oh,
And then
let's hope that recorded, let's say that.
It did, it's all right. Yeah,
good.
fantastic qualifying session. Then, unfortunately, a game crash for our broadcaster, and multiple
Sorry.
people disconnected from the lobby. And in that situation, the only right thing to do is to do a restart. A restart that did not go well at all, unfortunately. And Danny, don't take it personally if it sounds like we're having a bit of a bash at you, but it goes for everybody. I mean, I don't know who it was that crashed into me at the start, but when the person who's giving you the green light to retire gets disqualified because someone's crashed into him, yeah, it makes things a little bit
Yeah,
awkward. But the
you know-
drivers are now lining up on the grid.
I really should have looked at who took you out. I don't know why now. I want to know.
Alright,
Okay,
so
just
I'm going
remember
to
to
take Jack.
press your clutch.
Yeah, Jack, it's over to you for the lights out.
Well, it can't be, but it's lights out. Take a while now. So it took a while for the lights to go out. Immediately, we're slowed down. So most of the, I'll give them a nice view of you, GP.
We should now be able to return.
Yeah.
I am gonna wait for them to get through sector 2, just to be sure.
Well,
There we
the
go.
drivers have managed to get through turn 1, and I'm not seeing any dots yet facing the wrong direction. Oh, it's very busy though, sort of coming to get you. The sort of 6 cars all battling for one position.
Curly Willy's taking the lead, but Kane Islander's trying to come back. Oh, Kane nearly spins it, coming into. Wow, that is a lot of oversteer.
I think it was car jam in the wall, unless it was a bit of lag. Yep, he was in P2 at the start of the race. He's now down to 9th position. That's car jam in the debutant.
Curly Whirly though, he's under a bit of pressure from Danny Rowton in 2nd place.
It's not Danny Rowton, it's Kane Islander.
Oh, it's giving me the wrong names, and my apologies. I went on board with 2nd place. Oh yeah, I got that totally wrong. What professionals we aren't.
Well, this marks the end of your season, doesn't it?
Oh yes. Just wait until we do the last one drunk, as somebody suggested. Okay, Kane Islander and Curly Whirly side by side with Danny Rowton right behind them though as they come on to the start-finish line.
Here comes Danny. No, not yet. Talk about hey-ho double toe right here. Coming down towards turn 1. 3 wide. I can't see where Danny's gone. There's still 3 wide. I think Kane's lost it. But Kane has dropped 3rd place. And Curly's come out the big winner out of that. But Kane has come back on Danny Rowton. Yeah,
So they all came out of turn 3, all in exactly the same order as they were down there to turn 1.
they are.
The thing is, we know that these guys can race as well. Just a bit of information for you. Breaking Clay's WC driver and Tarjam into the pits to repair front wings. Tarjam now on the soft compound tyre.
They look like drifters coming through that double hairpin. They're just kicking their rear ends.
Sorry, Dave the Harp is now tagging on to this battle, this 3-way battle up at the front, while Hindle, a little further behind, has been passed by coming to get you, and Hindle has got RDB a couple of cars back.
Well, Curly is flying away with it right now because Danny is losing time having to defend from Kane, and he just seems very loose in that car. But Kane will DRS line. They won't have DRS this lap though, it will be activated, but they'll have it at the end of the next lap, as there's only one DRS detection zone down this track. Now, Steve, do you think they should add a 2nd one?
No, I just think we should get rid of the 2nd one, the 2nd DRS. If you can't get it done down that long straight, then you're not going to get it done down into turn 4.
It is a much shorter one.
Yeah, but the thing is, with just one detection zone, you get overtaken to turn 1, so the 2nd DRS is just to help you pull away. But that's not the idea of it. Hindle into the wall, front wing gone, but he's carrying on. Hindle, no front wing.
Danny Rowton under attack by Kane Islander though. At the start of sector 2, side by side they are now around the double-handed
Hindle's given up.
hairpin.
Oh, a little bit of contact. So they're coming round again. Oh, cutting the corner there, Danny. Danny will have a penalty soon if he continues cutting those penalties. Cutting those corners. But Kane is right up his chuff. He wants that position. He can smell blood with Danny's loose rear end. He will have DRS. Now the smart thing would be wait for the DRS and just obliterate him on track. He's coming round. That's the DRS line.
With where the DRS is, and that 2nd one, it's just going to pull away from him. That's why I don't think that 2nd DRS should be there, really.
Yeah, it's the same question of Baku with their DRS setup. I've got an awful camera angle, but Kane is closing, but he's not going to get it done, I don't think. Not into... Oh, well, he may do. He's gone for the move. Yeah, he's got it done. Locked up slightly. I did lose him on the camera angle though. I do apologise for that.
Here comes Dave Harp as well though, with those two going side by side. Dave Harp was really latched onto the back of him, and I believe that's coming to get you, who had a look at overtaking Dave Harp into turn 1, but decided better of it.
I did notice that. Oh, Kane's missed the chicane. Not even the chicane. Oh, Kane, what is happening? Where are we? Kane. Is he just... Oh, it's grass in his tyres. He just cannot get the grip back up. So...
That's a sign of a driver that's used to having assists, and when they go across the grass and they've got dirty tyres, flooring the throttle a little bit too much. If you've got traction control on, you can get away with it a little bit. If you haven't, you can't. If you've got dirty tyres, you've got to look after them.
He has got a wonderful helmet, though. Let's have a look at... Where are we? Dave the Harp. Watch him. That is a brilliant camera angle. Dave the Harp is coming under attack from I think it's coming to get you. Coming to get you will have the DRS coming over the safety car line, coming round the Mansell bend. That's a better camera angle, except for there's a giant sign. He's already got the move done. He's got it all set up. He's going to have DRS. He's just blown him out the water. And the question, the modern question right now is F1 become too technical to the point that it's either too easy to pass, or it's not easy or it's too hard to pass? Because
is that a question for me, or is that just a statement in general?
It's a general question to everyone. If you look at Eddie Irvine, he's stated that he doesn't like the DRS.
Yep.
What do you think, Steve?
I think that the cars have become so technical now with the areas that they have on them. That it just almost makes it impossible to follow another car. It should just be allowed to have, a plank cord on the front and a plank cord on the back, and that's your wing.
So basically a manor.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to necessarily do it in like IndyCar style, where they go, that's the shape of your car, now put everything else inside it. Because to me, that's not what it's about. They should still be able to design the shape of the car, but it almost comes across to me as a lot of the teams design the shape of the car not only to make the car go fast, also to hinder the car behind them.
Sorry to interrupt you, Danny Railton's come into the pits. I don't know what tyres he's going to go on. DP, could you look at that? Whilst we watch Dave the Harp coming down. He's not close enough to make a move.
Medium compound tyres for Danny Railton. Kane Ianda has had a stop-go penalty as well. He's also onto the medium compound tyre. We do also have RDB into the pits, and he's going from the soft tyre, new front wing, and onto the medium compound tyres. Something, I can sort of jump in a little bit on the comments there about DRS and things like that. I've raced without DRS. Trust me, it's better with it. The concern with it is whether it is too effective. I think somewhere like here you need 2 detection zones. So yeah, you get DRS down the start finish, but the person you overtake gets it for the next straight, but not necessarily gives them the opportunity to re-overtake you, but perhaps gives them an opportunity to get close enough or stay close enough. As for, I agree with GP about the sort of the dirty air, and when I was watching the last official F1 race, they talked about a car that was on display at the at Silverstone for the Williams 40th anniversary, as Curly Whirly is into the pits, by the way. Yeah, they were talking about one of the cars there that had no front wing, but it had ground effects. It didn't need a front wing, it had so much grip. And not only that, it didn't create dirty air behind. That is the way I think F1 needs to go. Get rid of the front wing that chooses where all the air goes, that also creates a big amount of the dirty air coming out the back of the car. So go with ground effects, you reduce that difficulty of following someone, and all of a sudden you improve the racing.
Well,
not only that, you reduce the amount of debris on the circuit from incidents. We reduce the amount of possible punches, because it's the front wing that tends to cut into the car tyre. So yeah, I'd agree with you on that one.
Well, I've seen the car in real life. I was at the Williams 40th anniversary. It was a good day out. But the car in real life, from growing up with front wings in the cars, it looks very weird. Now, the real question is, as well as that, they're getting the shields next year for aeros. So if they for instance, they're getting rid of the shark fin. If they got rid of the front wing, but put the shield on it, it's essentially becoming a bobsled.
Not really. It's a damn quick bobsled. I mean, I can't argue with them wanting to make the cockpit a little safer. I also can't fault them for not totally enclosing the cockpit, because I don't think they should. I personally don't have a problem with the like the windshield. Effectively, I think that is the way that they should go. But I mean, they need to do something about the dirty air that's created. Okay, just having a quick look. Coming to get your WC driver, he's leading the race at the moment. He's going long on a set of soft compound tyres, as is Dave the Harp, I believe, who's in second place. So Curly Wurly is still effectively net leader of this race, but something I'm going to keep an eye on is Curly Wurly's lap times on the soft compound tyre compared to Tar Jam's lap times, who's been on these soft compound tyres since the second lap of the race. And just to let everybody know, if I go and get on board with him, his lap times have been 122s, low 122s, even dipping into the 121s.
Yeah, I've been watching him a little bit. Been watching him in braking phase, and he's catching up to the braking phase. They both pitted on that first lap, and using the braking phase as a reference point, because obviously he's a World Championship driver, Tarjam. Yeah, he's doing it rather well, closing that gap to braking phase.
Well, I'm just wondering if Jack could perhaps jump on board with Tarjam. We'll keep an eye on him for, like, just show him for a little while, see how he's getting on. Because, as Steve said, he has got braking clays ahead of him, so we'll keep an eye on what's happening elsewhere. Because I don't think Danny Railton is going to catch up to Curly Wurly, because Danny Railton is on the medium compound tyre.
So sorry to interrupt you. Tarjam just going very sideways coming through the Mansell curve.
You may have just heard us talking about him on the broadcast, if he's watching the broadcast at the same time.
Hello, Tarjam.
It only puts you off if you listen to the broadcast at the same time.
See, the thing is with me, it makes me better. I'm just an awful driver to start with.
Well, we'll see tomorrow. We'll watch you all race and see what happens.
Oh, bloody hell.
Want you all the time.
Oh, pardon my French.
Even though he's had that moment, it looks like he's closed in on braking phase still.
Could it be the braking case's tyres have popped off?
Maybe, but Curly Wurly, his first time lap on the soft compound tyre, a 21.5, half a second quicker than Tarjam's been able to do so far. However, Curly Wurly is on a lower fuel load when he put them on brand new.
Right.
That is very true. That is very true. So how far can Dave the Harp and Coming to Get You go into this race on the soft compound tyres?
Lap 13.
The soft compound, yeah, they've not. If she's done the quali on them tyres, they'll probably do about 13 laps on them, unless they want to mix up the strategy a little bit.
Yeah.
Possibly stretch them out to 15 if they want to try and do that one stop.
I wouldn't risk that one stop.
No, I don't think I would. Not unless Coming to Get You wants to see if it will work, and he'll just attempt it no matter what, just to see if he can get it to work.
Yeah, because that could be a strategic advantage. The advantage, if he gets it, he could be in the running for a good race next week, which is the non-reserves race, which is the main league.
Oh, braking clays is all over the back of Danny Railton, so you might want to jump on board with Danny Railton. He's coming under pressure now. Something I was going to mention as well is the drivers that have gone for the medium compound tyre is the hardest compound you could bring, and it'll go the longest in the race, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good choice of tyre to go with, because if you lose so much time on that tyre, you may as well have just gone for a softer compound tyre, been quicker, and done a pit stop.
RDB has retired from the race. Sorry to interrupt you. He did not crash. I know he didn't crash. He went into, because he's in my car. I'm teammates with him. He's it came up saying teammate is in the pits, and then it just said RDB has retired from the race. So was it a frustration point, or it's just I can't be bothered anymore with this?
Probably one or the other. It's also getting a bit late because we've had the delays from today. The race would normally be coming to an end at any time, normally about now. So people sometimes have other things to attend to. But yeah, Danny Railton, braking phase is behind him, DRS wing wide open, and Danny Relton may be okay down this long straight with those medium tyres on, but it's sector 2 where he's going to be vulnerable. And rear end, I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be a bit slidey on them fast bends.
I'm going to say this now. I think Braking Glaze's tyres have dropped off a bit because he was very close and then suddenly he was nowhere.
I think my game has crashed.
Oh dear. Well, I've got a brilliant camera angle. I had a brilliant camera angle coming into the end of that. Oh, Danny Relton very sideways. Braking Glaze right up his gearbox. He's going to get very close. Now, I don't think he'd be able to make a move into those into the fast corners, would he, Dave? Excuse me.
Probably not, no. I've just seen that Danny's car looks like it's just lagged a little bit as well. And that's going to make it even more difficult for Braking Glaze to try and attack him. He's got a good run on him here, though. But you might as well wait until he gets DRS again. Yeah. Focus 100% on the exit of the corner. But for Danny Relton, it's a chance now for him to show that he can defend, as Kane's race is now over as well. Yeah, it's a chance for Danny Relton to show if he can defend against a fairly quick WC driver, although on very different tyre compounds. Here we go then, as we've got a car coming out of the pits.
DRS is open.
I think that's coming to get you. Yep, DRS is wide open for Braking Glaze, but Danny Relton showing he's got decent straight line speed, and Braking Glaze is going to have to go for a late braking move, and he's trying it. Danny gives him the room. Side by side they go through turn 2, and that's going to be Braking Glaze ahead.
Yeah. I'm back with you, and I can tell you that Kane Ander was terminal damage.
Oh my
I
dear!
had a very strange thing happen with my game. It froze, and it allowed me to change to another driver, but it was still frozen, and I just sat here and waited, and then it unfroze.
Oh my! Well,
very bizarre.
Okay, just to update you as well then, Dave the Harp has made his pit stop, but it looks like he's gone for another set of the soft compound tyre, so Dave's definitely going for a 2-stop strategy here.
Just to let you know, ooh, Danny going very, Danny will have a penalty after cutting that corner there, that's for certain. But who do we have behind? Tarjam, that's it. I'm still getting used to his name.
Tarjam's caught up to him now, but obviously Danny Relton's, well, they've both made one stop, and Tarjam's going to be stopping again soon, but I don't think Danny's going to take these tyres to the end of the race.
No, with his penalties, I know for one he'll have that. He'll have a penalty for crossing that line like that.
But I'll just say on that penalty thing, at the moment he's had lots of warnings and 1 3-second penalty.
Was that 3-second penalty on lap 12 by any chance? Tell me it was.
No, it was on lap 4.
Word. I was so sure he was going to have that. He was going to have a penalty for that, but he's close. He's going for Braking Glaze. I need to get him. Where are you, Danny? But he's not close enough.
Well, Braking Glaze has been on these tyres for 12 laps now, as has Tarjam. Dave the Harp and Coming to Get You have just pitted after doing 12 laps on a set of soft tyres. So for Braking Glaze and Tarjam, they're at a situation now where their tyres are going to be going off, and this is now where Danny Relton's tyres may be a little bit quicker.
They are driving on ice by the looks of it, but yet Braking Glaze is still keeping it very planted to the road. And so is Tarjam. Not much oversteer or understeer coming from either of them. But
well, just want to say, on these soft tyres, they can feel absolutely perfect until they hit the cliff, and that's when the back end will just step out on you, and it'll be totally unexpected. So you've got to make the right call when to pit. If you go 1 lap too long, yeah, you could end up finding yourself in a wall.
I'm gonna say I think Braking Glaze has amazing straight line speed. That setup is seems to be going very well for him. But Danny is not close enough. Maybe in the next DRS zone he'll be able to get past him. But again, it is the question: is it right? Is it sportsmanlike to have the opportunity to? Well, no, okay. Let's change the idea. If they put that second detection zone in, it would therefore add more racing, therefore add more chance for incidents, therefore add more chance for a safety car. I suspect that's probably why they didn't put it in, because they'd be fighting so difficult. Their fighting would be so tight that they would not. That if there was a safety car, it would essentially neutralise the race more than it normally would.
That is a possibility. Now, I'm just going to mention something as I'm watching Danny Roughton. It's either I'm not quite seeing it correctly, or his car's off the road more than it's on it at the moment.
It most
I don't know
certainly
whether
is.
that's lag I'm seeing, or whether he's peer popping, shall we say.
Well, right now my connection with Danny, yes, my connection with Danny. We have a very deep, intimate one. He
So, breaking
is
plate.
breaking clays into the pits. It'll be interesting to see what tyres he goes on to next. He wouldn't be able to make it on the medium.
Yeah, if he puts mediums on, he can go to the end on the mediums here. They will do 21 laps, and there's 21 laps to go.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to sing that.
He is on the medium compound tyre as well.
Going for the end, going to the end. But no, Danny's connection is very stable for me right now. I think he's just struggling with downforce, or he's just not happy with how the tyres are, but he's just making the best of it. Look at how much Tarjam has caught up to him, though.
Just to update you as well, Curly Whirly's still leading the race. However, he has got Coming to Get You, trying to catch him up. Coming to Get You on a set of super soft tyres. I'll keep an eye on that, and I'll let you know when you might need to come and have a look at it.
Well, Danny,
Tarjam at the moment.
yeah.
Over to
Tarjam,
you,
is he
Davey.
going to go for a move already? No, I wouldn't. He's had a look. He's pushed him. That was a bit of contact there, but he did touch. But oh, Tarjam, that might have just cost you some DRS. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, he may have done, and I'm just wondering whether actually he's going to pit on this lap.
No.
And if he did want to pit, he's not getting in the pit lane. He's gone for another one. This is interesting strategy here, and I'm just now wondering whether he's actually going to try, because he started in pits on lap 1 though. Surely can't do soft and then soft again to the end. If he started the race on the super soft, I don't think he can get back 23 laps. No, I don't mean 23 laps.
No, he's gone on the inside.
Laps out of 2 sets. Well,
Yeah.
Tarjam has
35
got
laps
Dave.
out of 2 sets.
Is it Dave or Danny? It's Danny, isn't it?
Yeah.
They don't have separate helmets. They use the base helmets, and I'm trying to remember who's who. But Tarjam has got him. I'm not sure if Danny, quote unquote, let him through because of the different strategies, or he just got a bit wide outside. But he is fighting for that position. Did he get wide? I assume he would have got a bit wide coming out there because he's been going wide there all race.
He may have gone wide. He may have thought, oh, this, I've done an ETL, and I will show goodwill and do an ETL lift, which is not a necessity in the reserves. He's gone for a look around the outside of turn 12. Not going to make that happen there.
He's darting it. Oh, this is a hell of a camera angle. He's darting it a lot like Vettel. Oh, Tarjam. Mate, I think it's time for new tyres.
Yeah.
But he's gone for it again.
Do you think he's forgotten where the pit entrance is?
No, I think... oh, Danny darting across the track. I'm just going to go on board with Tarjam quickly. His pit board, his dashboard is saying for him to pit. So maybe his setup is allowing his tyres just that little bit more life than what we'd assume.
Okay, Curly Whirly is now beginning to come under a little bit of pressure from Coming to Get You. Curly Whirly has been on his soft compound tyres for... he's on his 11th lap, so he's only going to be doing a couple more laps on these tyres potentially. But he is going to have to try and fend off Coming to Get You, because I think they're both sort of one more pit stop.
Just to give you information on Tarjam's strategy, he started on the super softs. He's done 17 laps on these soft tyres. He's got 17 laps left to go. He can do it. He can go for another set of soft tyres. I believe that's what he's trying to eke out here.
Yeah.
He knows he'll be faster on the soft tyres for 17 laps than he would do on the mediums for about 20 laps.
Well, here's a question. If they pitted on if, for instance, Tarjam pitted on lap 23 and put on the super softs, would he make it to the end?
I don't know, but I don't think he's going to answer that question because he's pitting now.
Oh. Now this will be a question.
I was just saying, on his tyres, they don't look that bad. I was expecting to see quite worn tyres as that car came into the pits.
What, you mean a
look
rim?
Pretty good to me. No, the texture of the tyre, normally when they've reached the end of their life, normally you can see marble stuck to them as well as holes in them. They just wear, just looks all, just very dull, horrible grey colour. When they're working, they're nice and shiny.
Yeah, Breaking Clay is going very wide, not very wide, going very close to Curly Whirly, or maybe it's just the angle I was looking at, but he's very close. He's within DRS range. Curly Whirly is locking up a fair bit.
I'm not sure it was Breaking Clays though. It may well have been Coming to Get You though.
Was it? Oh, okay. Breaking Clays is in the Renault.
Yes,
I'm having a moment. Hang on.
Just some information for you as well. Dave Harp has made another pit stop. He's gone on to the medium compound tyre. For anyone that is interested and still watching at the moment, unfortunately there are only 6 runners left at the moment, but this is the World Championship Reserves event. It is a reserves race for drivers that are wanting to get into the World Championship. Also the opportunity for World Championship drivers to go, right, well that guy's done all right, I'll pick him as my reserve because I need one. Obviously we started off with considerably more drivers, but unfortunately with the technical difficulties, and Schmidt unfortunately had something he had to go and deal with. That's why he left during qualifying about 2 hours ago. Wasn't able to rejoin, and then the difficulties with the safety car restart, a few drivers like the WC drivers saying, you know what, I'll test another day, and a couple of other drivers unfortunately having crashes in the opening laps of this race. We are now down to only 6 drivers, but it's an interesting sort of texture of the race that we've got going at the moment. A WC driver in second, hunting down a WSR driver and a WCR driver in the shape of Coming to Get You, and hunting down Curly Whirly, and then that battle for third between sort of Danny Railton, Breaking Clay's Tar Jam, because I think that's a battle that's going to
sorry to interrupt you
later.
But Curly had a big moment coming out of the stadium section because he's just gone. Oh, they're both into the pits, so this is going to be a race in the pits right now between Curly Whirly and oh Christ, I've forgotten his name now. He's gone on to the medium tyres, Curly, and Coming to Get You. That's it. He truly is trying to come and get him, and yeah, Curly is still ahead. They're both. I think they're both on the same tyre. Let's have a look.
They are. Where's Danny Railton? Oh, Danny Railton only just now coming around the final corner, and I still think he's got another pit stop to do.
Well, this is the question.
Information for you in a moment.
Go on, Steve.
Okay, that interesting information is that Tar Jam and Breaking Clays. Tar Jam is lapping quicker than Breaking Clays. Not by a little bit, but by quite a lot quicker, looking at his sectors. He's just done a 1:20.9, that's Tar Jam, who's got Breaking Clays ahead of him, who's doing the 1:22s, mid 1:22s. So you're looking at nearly 2 seconds a lap difference between the medium and the soft tyres. That's how important it was for Tar Jam to get onto those soft tyres.
Oh, so Curly Whirly, sorry, Curly Whirly just massively deep into a corner. That's Coming to Get You right on the back of him. I was just watching this battle, sorry to cut you off there, Steve. I was watching this battle thinking, you know what, we know Curly Whirly's pretty quick with a couple of assists on. He's been doing really, really well here, and then he had a massive lock up into a corner. But it's got to be said, I mean, Coming to Get You is no slouch. So if Curly Whirly can put up a fight against Coming to Get You, then he's potentially got to be considered as somebody, as a reserve driver for WC drivers if they need them next week.
I mean, this battle right here is a perfect example of proving that Curly is a brilliant driver in this league, as he is facing a league racer on the same tyre. They pitted at the same time.
I thought you'd commentated Kirsten then.
Yeah, so did I. I had a little flitter, but they're racing same tyre, same type of wear, besides the few lockups. And this shows that Curly has got the talent to be able to be in the big league, and this is like a one-on-one race at this point. I said at the start of this race not to take it seriously. I retract that comment. If there are any people looking for reserve drivers, Curly Whirly is one of those drivers you need to look for.
Yeah, now the question now though is, now that Coming to Get You's got ahead, is he just going to run off and disappear into the distance? Now that he's got clear track, it's possible he's already opened up a little bit of a gap. I mean, Danny Railton, I mean, he's not that far behind at the moment as well, you know, because those guys have made pit stops. He's only 6 seconds behind, but I still fear that Danny may have another pit stop to do, whereas the leaders haven't. And I think the gap between Danny and Braken Clays is only about 5-6 seconds, so if Danny does have another pit stop to do, he's going to come out behind Tarjam, but ahead of Dave Hart.
Yeah, Tarjam is catching Braken Clays, and it's going to be another couple of seconds this lap. Yeah, it is. That gap now, as he crosses the line, because Tarjam, to be honest with you, is lapping quicker than the leaders. He's catching the leaders, but the gap to Braken Clays is about 4 seconds at the moment.
And he's catching it, what, 1 and 2 seconds per lap?
About 1.5 to 2 seconds a lap. So yeah, in about 3 laps, he should be right on the back of him. I'll let you know when he gets there.
It'd be interesting to know if Braken Clays has any not Braken Clays, Coming to Get You has any penalties for this.
Well, I hope he has, because he's a league driver. Yeah. He'll love what.
Hang on, don't you race in a league?
Of course I do. Right.
Yeah.
It's not about me. It's about them.
Oh yeah, for now. Wait until next week. That'll be about you. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Curly Whirly is currently 1 second behind the leader, which we can see. It'd be interesting to see if the gap changes once he comes over the line. And he's catching up. He's gone quicker by a tenth. He's now 0.9 seconds between the leader and him. He must have caught that after the DRS detection zone, because he has not got DRS, but he is closing at a rate of knots as Coming to Get You locks up massively into turn 1, but still keeps it on the road. It could be a no DRS, all same tyre move right now. He's looking for it. I think he's made the move. Oh, it's so difficult to tell right now. There's nothing between them. The reserve driver versus the experienced lead driver.
The thing is, though, as well, I mean, if you're Coming to Get You Coming to Get You's in this with no pressure, is using it as a test session, but I mean, we've got to know Coming to Get You quite well, and I wouldn't be surprised if he sat there in that car thinking, come on, show me what you've got. I'll give you some space, you show me what you can do, you show everybody else what you can do. And in some ways, it's one of the reasons why we've allowed World Championship drivers into the World Championship, reserve racers if there's space, so that the reserve guys have the opportunity to go wheel to wheel with the league racers, and the league racers get to see, right, these guys have got it, these guys perhaps haven't. I'm not going to call on those, but Curly Whirly with DRS is going to go for the move here. Up the inside he goes, nothing Coming to Get You can do about that one. And Curly Whirly in to the lead of the race then, and I think Danny Railton has also made a pit stop, so I'll go and find out about that.
Well,
he has, and Braken Clays and Tarjam, that gap is still getting smaller. That's another second that's gone.
So they're like 2 seconds away from each other now, are they?
Yeah, well, he's not getting as close as quickly as he was. He's starting to get a bit of deg on them tyres, so it's catching him about now probably 1 second a lap rather than nearer 2. But the gap is still closing. It's just whether he's got his tyre life left in those tyres to do something about it when he catches up to the back of him. But we've still got a long way to go in this race.
We've got just nearly 12 laps. But just on what Dave was saying about Braken Clays, the way that they went from 9 tenths apart to 4 tenths, I'm sort of thinking that Dave might have slowed down just to see what he can do with the pressure of a driver behind him.
I think you've got a bit of a fan fetish going on for Braken Clays at the moment, because I'm pretty sure you mean Curly Whirly.
God's sake!
Coming to Get You.
I'm having a moment.
Coming right back at Curly Whirly now. But, I mean, you could be right. Coming to Get You as he goes alongside Curly Whirly now, he may have turned his engine down once he gets ahead and thought, right, come on, I'll give you the opportunity to see how you get on wheel to wheel with me. He doesn't. I mean, if he wants to, he could, if he's got the pace and he can turn his engine and he can just run off into the distance. That's all good. But does it teach Coming to Get You anything? Probably not. Does it teach him anything if he does like turn his engine down? what's the word? It kind of simulates, right, if I'm under pressure, where can I turn my engine down? Where can't I turn my engine down? If we get alongside someone, where can I go? Where can't I go? While also seeing what Curly Whirly's all about.
I mean,
and also
right now,
added into the mix. Wrong.
yeah, right now, it is a marvel they haven't touched, and I'm still going to say that. Also, on my mess up of names, it is 9:30 at night, and I haven't had my cup of tea tonight. So,
Tarjam
very deep.
getting closer. He must be about half a second off the back of Breaking Plays. I'll let you know when he's right up on his rear. But also on Curly Whirly and Coming to Get You. Coming to Get You also might want to know if he gets Curly Whirly ahead of him and he follows him, what does that mean to his fuel mix? How much can he save on his fuel? How much does the dirty air affect his lines through the corners? So there's a lot of different reasons for having another car around you. The Tarjam and Breaking Plays, it's not quite a second actually. It's not quite there. It didn't have the DRS, so.
Oh dear, I'm looking forward to that fight that's coming up.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
I think it will be coming, but I think Tarjam's tyres have just started to drop off a touch too much. He's using the best out of them now, and I think he's maybe running at a slightly slower pace. But it could still happen. I'll let you know.
Maybe he's dropped his pace a little bit to give the tyres the life to get to the end. I mean, is a possibility. Once again, I mean, seeing up at the front here, Coming to Get You, it almost looks like he's easily able to open up a gap at the front. But then maybe he is doing what Jack was hinting at and sort of backing off a little bit to really use this as a full-on sort of test session, as Steve pointed out, finding out, okay, what do I do with the dirty air, and learning as much as he can for next week. And I mean, we mentioned about how many laps are left in this race a few laps ago. It's already down to 9 laps to go. There's a lot of laps here, and it's not the shortest of tracks. I mean, I think we're lapping in the 121s. So it's a quick lap, but it's not the quickest.
It's very much like Silverstone length.
Yeah, well, it very much feels like a long race around here, especially with the number of laps.
Yeah, we got 36 laps. Normally there's what, 71?
Tarjam is within a second of Breaking Clays. You might want to get on board with that one because it's getting interesting now.
I was just about to say it. I was waiting for you to finish speaking.
Stole your thunder.
Well, yeah, he's got his DRS open and he is catching up the back of Breaking Plays, but I think the DRS this lap is just going to be to help him close that gap up a bit more, and if there is going to be an overtake, it'll probably be in a traction zone maybe somewhere, or in the next DRS straight.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how Breaking Plays has taken on those medium tyres. He's been on them longer than Tarjam has been on these. I nearly said Tarzan then. Longer than Tarjam has been on the soft compound. The singles are ghosted in between them now, but that won't be an issue.
No, they are very close. I'm trying to stay away from Breaking Clays' name. Hey, I got it right, because I'll end up calling Coming to Get You now. I think it's because last time I saw Coming to Get You, he was in a Renault. But yeah, it does show. Breaking Clays is a WC driver. Am I correct?
Yep, he is.
So could he be doing what Coming to Get You was, or he could just be going, oh bugger, he's a bit quick, pardon my French, but you know.
I think, to be fair, Breaking Plays, as well as I do know him, he's more likely to be going, oh hell, he's a bit quick, I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah.
He's the sort of person that would rather drive off into the distance and not worry about what anybody else is doing. So to have a car chasing him down would be something he's not that used to, and it looks like he's being put under quite a lot of pressure here from Tarjam.
Yeah, he is. I just want to run on the actual onboard cameras with Breaking Clays to see how his lines are different.
Are you sure it's Breaking Clays?
Yes, it's Breaking Clays, Dave.
Okay, I'll let you off that one. Okay.
Well, now you can also see the proximity arrow, so you can see how close and how far Tarjam is compared, and it's only 1. Yet you seem to think it's so much closer, don't you?
Well, if you look from Tarjam's footage, you can see Breaking Clays ahead of him And if you get too close, you do get affected by dirty air, but you've got to get close enough to try and get that DRS, and he struggles around struggles around the last corner there, but DRS is open again. But braking pace, you mentioned it earlier, his straight line speed is phenomenal. And Car Jam is doing a hefty speed there, 217 miles per hour, but not enough to catch up to braking pace. So I don't think he's going to get an overtake then.
I'm going to have to cut you off for a second. I think Jack was absolutely spot on with what he said about coming to get you. Because coming to get you,
he's the
ran
Red
off
Bull,
into
right?
the distance. Yes, he's the Red Bull.
Right.
Coming to get you, ran off into the distance, but now the gap between the two cars is only half a second. So I do think there is a little bit of learning going on here from coming to get you. I'm going to have a look at his lap times actually.
I think it'd be fun to see if he's deliberately draining his tyres to see how well Curly can do against him with less tyre compared to Curly's tyre. Although obviously he doesn't know. He doesn't know his tyres.
I mean, coming to get you doing 21.1, 21.8, 22.2, 22.1, 21.2, 21.8, 21.6, 21.4. But I think now he's on potentially a little bit of a slower lap. So I think he is playing about with his fuel mixtures and seeing what he can learn there. Curly Whirly. Interesting. Curly Whirly's lap times are sort of very up and down as well. So I think it could be a mixture of perhaps coming to get you playing about with his fuel levels, but also Curly Whirly doing it as well.
Well, just to say, Tarjan did have a very sideways moment, a couple of sideways moments coming into the final, coming round the Mansell bend. I think if he hadn't have had those moments, he could have possibly had him. But when we get to the start-finish straight, I want to see how fast Breaking Clays goes compared to Tarjan. Because Tarjan...
Just looking at it, I can let you know. Breaking Clays' top line speed was at 209 miles per hour without the DRS. Tarjan on the previous lap when I was watching his top speed with the DRS was 217. So there is a bit of closing speed there, but the gap was a bit far away for major slipstream to take effect. If you can just stay a bit closer to him on the last corner and get some of the drafting down the back straight, down the start-finish straight, then he'll get a few more miles per hour. Might get up to about 222, 223 mile an hour, and that's what he needs to try and make that overtake. But just
Curly Whirly is right on the back of coming to get you.
Alright. Sorry, Tarjam, but your moment of glory will come later.
Well, we'll probably end up missing it. Curly Whirly can't quite make the move yet, and neither can Tarjan. But yeah, Curly Whirly definitely close enough to attack. So I don't know if you might want to keep an eye on that battle, and we can update you about Tarjan.
It is interesting to see the idea that it's almost like you expect Alonso with Sainz behind him to say, oh, hang on, let's see how you can see if Alonso was in a Ferrari, if he wasn't having a good race, but he knew Sainz was behind him, sort of thinking, I'll see what you can do. I'll deliberately slow down to see how you can do. It's sort of turning into a little bit of a mentorship session, because Curly Whirly is seeing where coming to get you is making mistakes, and he's learning from that.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the assists that Curly Whirly usually would use is racing line. So I do know that he said earlier on that it'd be the first race he's done, I don't know if it ever, but one of the first races he's done without a racing line. So following someone like Coming to Get You, as you said, it's going to be showing exactly where Coming to Get You is positioning his car, potentially where he's braking. And for someone that usually would use a racing line, it tends to be the braking points that people struggle with when they haven't got the racing line.
Ooh,
but that
was a little bit of contact. Sorry to cut you off, but it did look like Curly did poke Coming to Get You's backside a bit.
Well, you see, that's what I'm on about there. He hasn't got the marker of where to brake. And that's, for someone that's just turned off racing line, it is going to be a problem. But it doesn't take that long to go, well, hang on, there's stuff on the tarmac or next to the track that's going to show me where to brake. Tarjam is still very, very close to Breaking Clays at the moment, by the way.
I am going to swap back onto them because of because I think that coming to get you has turned his engine up a bit again.
Time for him to say, right, I'm off, see you in a bit.
I think Tarjam has just turned his engine up this lap. I think he's had a few laps trying to save some fuel when he was running around on his own. And this lap, I think he's turned it up because his straight line speed was quicker in the DRS straight than what it was previously. And it was very quick through them S-bends, but he needs to just get out of this last corner without too much sideways movement of the car and get that power down. And it is closer than he has been before. And if he has got his engine turned up, this might be the lap, but DRS open.
He's closing. He's closing,
yeah,
he's closing,
quicker.
But not enough. Not enough yet. Keep it going through this sector. I'm going to go on the actual onboard here.
He very nearly clipped the back of Braking Clays there. I mean, it's definitely the final corner that he's having a problem with that is stopping him from really being able to attack at the end of the straight, unfortunately for Tarjam. As I've just seen Curly Whirly have a bit of a problem off track, taking a few curbs by the looks of things.
I'm on.
Tarjam, if you are watching the broadcast, you lean out the last corner, it's faster.
I'm literally on the onboard camera right now. I want to see this pass on board. I think this is brilliant stuff from here. To see a man who has only just come into this league, literally today, just coming into the league, compared to a man who's been in it for... How many seasons has Braking Clays been in it for?
This is his first.
This is his first one. He's done very well though. He's been very impressive. He's got his full-time seat. He's got a few victories when he was in the reserves early in the season. He's not had the look though in the full league, but it's a different ball game in there. He's got a better exit. Tarjam must be listening to the broadcast.
Come on, mate, you can do it.
Well, Braking Clay's got sideways around the final corner as well.
Yeah. Right now, they are just they're flying.
Not closing.
No, he's lost time. I think he must have used all that. Though Braking Clays went very deep into that chicane, no. But he's much smoother coming out of the rest of it compared to Tarjam, who just seems to be. Sorry to say this if you are listening, you just do seem to be going left, right, instead of gradually turning. You know what I mean?
That might be the way the car is wanting to go without him actually telling it to go there, with the tyres being as old as they are now. Braking Clays has probably got the upper hand on the tyre war at the moment, because the tyres have got the longer life. But I am surprised how well Tarjam's made these tyres work. I don't want to commentate curse him, I want to see an overtake if possible. Yeah, the Braking Clays has made a bit of a run for it.
There is a very distinct line. See, one of the pluses of being on the onboard shot, you can see the line on the tyres. I'm just going to compare it to Braking Clays so the viewers can see. Braking Clays just does not have that line.
Sorry to cut you off. Curly Whirly taking the lead into turn one.
That's Hindle.
He's managed to just get through.
I do apologise to the viewers.
He's managed to just sneak through there. I should have spotted that a little bit sooner. My apologies. But yeah, I mean, Curly Whirly wasn't close quarter of a lap ago, and then all of a sudden, coming to get you, was right in front of him. And Curly Whirly, he definitely had to work for it, and he's still having to work for it as the car now sideways through the tricky start of Sector 2.
This will be an interesting podium interviews right now. It's going to be interesting to see if see how Curly will react to it, because if we pitch him
coming to get you, going for him side by side, what a move! And they both ended up off the track at different points.
But yet they're still side by side. Curly's slightly behind. He'll get him in a DRS if he's lucky.
Very quickly, Danny Railton in 5th place. He's the 3rd highest WCR driver. So we'll have to see what his comments will be regarding the safety car attempted start.
Coming to get you very sideways around the final corner. This may give Curly Whirly an opportunity. Onto the last lap though, if Curly Whirly's going to make a move, he's going to have to make it quick. But seeing where Coming to Get You made the attempted re-overtake on him, not a place you'd expect, but definitely worth giving it a go. Curly Whirly having a look, but can't quite make the move.
It's a real questionable moment here. Is Coming to Get You gonna think this is his race, this is his league? I might let him win, like win on track as well.
Maybe.
Maybe I just want to point out Tarjam. I think his effort of trying to overtake braking phase has gone. I think his tyres have hit the cliff. He is struggling on the exit of almost every corner. It's still a gallant effort from him and a very interesting strategy.
Had a moment there myself, but it is a remarkable effort. He's just come into this.
Curly Whirly, sorry, Curly Whirly,
yeah.
Curly Whirly, coming, he's catching up, coming to
I've
get you.
been on board with him.
Around
He's got
the
him.
Outside, side by
Is it
side
going to be
into the
contact?
stadium.
Oh, what's that a touch? The fireworks, the confetti's gone up. Curly Whirly is still behind, but yet he's ahead. Yeah, he's behind. There's contact coming into the Mansell Bend. Who's ahead? Oh, it's coming to get you just by
Curly Whirly wins it.
0.067 of a second. Oh wait, Curly wins.
Whirly, yes, Curly Whirly wins, and I think that is down to penalties.
Must have been. Breaking phase.
Well, we'll find out in a moment. But yeah, breaking phase crossing the line for third.
Tarjam coming around behind the ghost of Hindle. That was a good race. That was an exhilarating race. For having only 6 drivers, we didn't see Danny unfortunately, but having only, well, here's Danny, but having only 6 drivers, you got to see those little battles between league drivers and reserve drivers, and you saw that these reserve drivers, I mean, look at Tarjam, he's got it. He came in first event, he scored second in his podium interview.
Yep. Let's just try and explain a little bit about that and why he is second, even though he crossed the line in 4th. Do you want to explain that, JB?
Well, we take the highest placed reserve driver. So, coming to get you and breaking plays, both have been taken out of the equation. So, essentially, they've been taken off the track, and the other guys have moved up. So, Dave would be in 4th. So, we'd have it if Curly Whirly, the top podium are Curly Whirly, Tarjam, and Danny Railton. They have, so it's taking the 2 reserve league drivers out of the equation and pushing the. I've made this too complicated, haven't I?
That's why I asked you to do it.
You are a mean so-and-so, you sir.
The easy way to say it is, this is the World Championship Reserves event, so the World Championship drivers, as you rightly said, are effectively taken off the leaderboard, meaning that Curly Whirly would be your winner, Tarjam would be in 2nd place, Danny Railton would be in 3rd, with Dave the Harp in 4th. I am just wondering though, guys, I mean, obviously I'll invite in Curly Whirly, Tarjam, and Danny Railton for their podium chat. But seeing as the viewers have been robbed a little bit of the action today and the broadcast today, I'm just wondering if you would like me to also invite in Coming to Get You.
I was going to mention we should invite Coming to Get You to see if he was doing what we suspect he was.
But also, I want to know what his opinion of the wheelchair battle was like with Curly Whirly. So yeah, I'd agree with you on that one. Yeah, okay. But while DP is arranging that, we'll go back to question of the day.
Really?
I hate this question.
I think you, Jack, said 4.
I said 4. Dave said 5.
Well, the question was, how many race starts have there been by Mexicans? And how the hell can it be 4 when Perez has been in F1 for how many seasons?
Well, I misheard the question. I did. I said 5, but I misheard the question.
Wait, race starts.
By Mexicans.
Ah, I've got it now. I had in my head, I was adamant it was racing Mexicans in all time. Ah, right. I sort of want to change my answer now.
You're going to add a 0 on the end?
Well, he came in 2012. He came in, so that was what? That was 20 races, wasn't it? So let's assume that was 20 races. 2013, he was in the McLaren. That went brilliantly. That was still 20 races. 2014, Force India. 19 races. Then. So
you should have googled it.
I'm genuine.
You try and work that out for. You try and work that out for.
Nah, I give in. I'm googling it, and I won't say the answer.
Right, well, you do that quietly for a moment. Curly Whirly has joined us, as has Tarjam. Just to let Tarjam know, you are on effectively a podium interview at the moment for World Championship Reserve drivers. We can explain more about that in a moment if you're a little bit confused. All I would say is if you just make sure that if you can check your chat party settings to make sure you've got your microphone set to allow to be shared, so that when we do get to you, we're going to be able to hear you. And hopefully Danny Railton and Coming Together you'll be able to join us as well. I have sent both of them an invite.
Danny Railton may not realise that he's on the podium.
Again.
He should do by now. It was David Hart last time that couldn't, forgot, joined us half an hour later.
Oh, yes.
Well, I just noticed we've had our reserve driver turn up. They've come in to get you.
Can I just say this now? There was no Mexican driver called Hermano Rodriguez. There was two brothers called Pedro and Ricardo Rodriguez.
That's what I said.
Yes. And I didn't know that, and I'm a little educated now.
There you go.
I didn't necessarily say there was a driver called Hermanos Rodriguez. I just said that the track is named after a driver and the track is called Hermanos Rodriguez. So I knew there was brothers. Anyway.
Dave showing off his superior knowledge of being an old man.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Okay, so if anybody heard the question today, if you want to answer it in the YouTube comments, and we'll read them out in a moment. As for the podium drivers, we'll ask them the question today once they've answered the few questions from the broadcast team. Do we have everybody in, or is we still missing?
Danny hasn't joined us yet. I'm just checking if he's still online or not.
It's getting late, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's.
He's not online now, so okay. I would say we crack on.
Yep. Okay, JB, over to you.
So let's talk to Curly first. Curly, congratulations on your win.
Cheers, mate.
How did you find it racing wheel to wheel with Coming to Get You?
Yeah, it was pretty good fun. I think that he was kind of, I don't know if he was sort of waiting up for me, but yeah, it was a good battle. It was pretty fun, like driving without, because that's the first race I've done without the racing line, so that was something new. I'm glad that the quarter cutting on this game is not that strict, because otherwise I would have had probably about a minute's worth of penalties.
Well, let's talk about...
hang on a minute. Just going to mention on that, because obviously this is the reserves race. In the league race, Curly, if you were called up as a reserve to race in the World Series or the World Championship Reserves, you're aware of what you would need to do in that situation?
Yeah.
And what would that be?
This is the viewers.
ETL lift in.
Yeah, ETL lift in the correct place in the ETL lift zone, or if there is no ETL lift zone after that corner, it's after the corner. All explained on the Steward's Guide on the Race Directors page. Great stuff. JB, and carry on.
So, let's talk about tyres. Did you feel like you were driving on ice at some points?
Especially towards the end of the stints, yeah. I definitely find that without assists, it's a much bigger difference towards the end of your tyre stint than it is when you have assists. I mean, when you have assists, you can drive at the same pace for pretty much the whole stint, whereas when you're driving without them, yeah, I mean the difference, especially when you get up to around about 60% wear, the tires are awful. I really noticed that when I first pitted. I put on the set of softs that I had like too much grip almost in that first lap. So yeah, it was pretty tricky towards the end of the stints. But I think the car felt good, but I was running quite low wing, so the car felt awful through the S section. The rest of the circuit it was good, but through there I was sort of struggling all race long.
So just finally from me, how much practice did you do without the assists? Because I know you've been trying the new game without assists. How have you? Is there much difference?
So I've been racing without traction and ABS for a while in another league, but this is the first time without the racing line. So yeah, I mean, I was really just trying to learn the track and learn the braking zones. I spent, I don't know, probably about 2 hours on time trial, and got a decent sort of idea of where to brake and how much speed I could take into the corners. I don't think it's necessarily the easiest track for that because there's a couple points in the circuit where you don't really have much of a reference. But yeah, I don't really think I can say too much about the differences between this game and 2017 though.
You knew I was going to talk about it. That's me done. Steve, Dave?
Okay, well, I've got a couple of questions. First of all, bit of a random question, but I think a poignant one. What would you say you learnt more from? Your couple of hours practicing on time trial or following Coming to Get You?
I think probably the time trial, to be honest. Simply because I hadn't raced without the line, so I had to like go through the whole process of actually like learning every braking zone, and then it's also difficult for the first time when you turn that off that you don't really know how much speed you can take through a corner, and you've kind of got to learn that. So yeah, I mean that was the main thing, and then just during the race I was just trying to focus on keeping it smooth and hit my apexes, which I didn't do that well, but yeah, I know it was good fun with the battle with Come to Get You though.
Yeah. Okay, my other question is, I want to just mention as well, once again, apologies to the viewers about the problems with that we had earlier on with the lobby sort of half going down, and then also the safety car restart style restart. I just want to apologise again for the difficulties with that. But Curly, I'm just wondering, I mean, I don't want to be too negative about it. I did that about an hour and a half ago, but just from a driver's perspective, if you can, you're the guy that sat on pole. You knew it was a safety car situation. I mean, you actually messaged me on Facebook, and I said, well, there's a PSM message going out at any moment. But when you're the guy that's on pole, you know that you're meant to be at the front. What's it like as the driver when all of a sudden it's not going to plan as what's meant to be happening?
Yeah, it was the first time I've ever done something like that, but I don't know. I got myself to the front of the field, and then Danny Rilton was ahead of me, and I was trying to catch up to him, but obviously he wasn't interested in that. So, yeah, at that point I was like, right, well, I tried to just do it from second place, and then whatever he was doing, he could go off and do by himself. That's fine. But the problem was because then I was in second, that everybody else was a place out of position, so they were all trying to like overtake to get to where they thought they should be. So yeah, it was a little frustrating, but I managed to get pole with the one shot, so it wasn't too bad in the end.
Yeah, and I've got one final question for you. We'll see if Steve's got any for you. You did have a great battle with Coming to Get You. It was very exciting for us to watch, but there was one part of it which I'm wondering whether it needed perhaps requirement for new underwear. When Coming to Get You went for the overtake in the middle of the S's, where I don't think you expected it, we didn't expect it, and he probably didn't either. But what went through your mind at that point?
To be honest, I'm kind of surprised I didn't do that before then in the race. Like, I was so slow through that sector. Whenever he was ahead of me, I would sort of catch up to him on the straights, and then I would lose, I don't know, I think I was losing about 7 or 8 tenths through the S section alone. So yeah, I kind of expected that, but no, it was a clean move, so fair play to him. It was a bloody good move, to be honest.
Good stuff. GP, any questions?
Yeah, the only question I've got is, now you've experienced the reserves from the World Series side and the World Championship side, do you prefer being in the World Series reserves where you've got a good chance of winning the race every week, or the World Championship reserves where it's going to be more challenging for you?
I don't think this race was really sort of the best, the best sort of marker for that. I mean, we had quite a lot of problems, and then we didn't end up with too many people. So, I mean, if I race in Brazil, probably best ask me then.
Okay, I'll note it down, and I'll make sure I ask you the same question then. No, I won't. I'll give it to DP to ask you, because I might not be available for that one.
True, yeah.
Weddings are calling.
We'll move on to Tarjam then. Hello, Tarjam. I hope you're well. Just in case you... Good. Just in case you're not aware, the reason why you are on the podium interview is because obviously it is a World Championship Reserves event, and a couple of the drivers that were that finished the race today are World Championship drivers, so we're not counting them. So even though you finished in 4th place, you were actually the 2nd positioned reserve driver, which is why you've ended up on the podium. And hopefully JB will have some questions for you. Jack?
Well, here's a question. Right at the end, you were so close to breaking Clays. What happened? Did you think, I'm not going to get him, so I'll try and save the tyres for the last lap? Or did your tyres just hit the cliff and you thought, I'm not going to get him in general?
Well, my tires reached the cliff, like 80% in the front tires. So I backed off to avoid a puncture and finished the race. That's it. My race was compromised in the first lap, so I had to take the risk of running 2 stops on softs, running the long stints of softs like 16, 18 laps, which is way over the limit. But I took the risk and it paid off to a certain extent.
It certainly did, sir. Congratulations on your 2nd place. And that's all I've got. Steve?
Okay. Yeah, I've got a question for you, Tarjan. What made you think that you could take the soft tyres for 17 laps? Because I thought it would just be not possible. And have you done it previously before today?
Yes, I did it before, and that was the plan, running like 6-7 laps on the super soft and running like 14-13 laps on the soft. But I found I'm not good on mediums, because the grip is low and you need that in the 2nd sector and in the S's. So running the softs was the only way for me to compensate the issue in the first lap.
Okay. All right.
That's about it.
Yeah, and I just want to say that the majority of the race I was actually watching your car, and how you got those tyres to last and so long with the lap times you're doing was quite phenomenal. So I just want to say well done for that. But also I want to kind of apologise a little bit for the mess up at the start that we had. Well, not mess up, more of a technical issue which kept you waiting. It was your debut race today. It's not something that we have every week, so we apologise for your experience on your debut race, and hopefully it'll be all smooth next time round for you.
Yeah, no worry, it's Cody's.
Yeah,
Tell it like it's straight.
That's comment of the day, that is Cody's.
But don't go anywhere, because we do have a question of the day which we're going to have to ask you in a moment. DP, over to you.
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions for you, Tarjan. You said you were compromised at the start. I mean, we didn't get to see it, unfortunately. I'm just wondering if you could tell us what happened from your view.
Well, I was sandwiched by 2 Ferraris, and I was pushed going into the 3rd corner, then the 4th corner. I don't know what happened. Somebody hit me from the behind, and I lost the car balance and hit the wall. I lost my wing, so that's about it. So I don't know what happened. But yeah, but it was a good race. I had some fun with breaking Clay. A fun and a clean fight. But hey, with such long stint on softs, I knew I will be very slow and with the risk of puncture towards the end. So let's see in Brazil what we can do.
Definitely. I mean, it was a very good race from yourself, and also, if you got jam in your name, you're going to end up in a sandwich, unfortunately. So
he's been waiting for that since the start.
I only just thought about it.
Or you'll find yourself in a sticky situation.
Oh, for God's sake. I do apologise for these two.
Go on with those all night long. But no, I will say, I mean, as a late addition, I've got to say very well done. And hopefully Brazil will be able to see more of yourself, because I wouldn't be surprised if you could get yourself into the mix up near the front somewhere, looking at the lap times you were doing today. So very well done to yourself. And I think we've got a bit of a stray in the commentary box, haven't we, guys?
Oh, I believe we do.
We do.
Astray, you cheeky gits.
Well, this is
you
a
know what?
one-time offer.
It is. I mean, coming to get you being a WC driver, obviously wouldn't usually be invited into the commentary box, but I know JB's got a few questions for you, and I think the viewers may be interested in some of your comments as well. And obviously they've been robbed a little bit of the show earlier on, so we thought we'd put on a little something now. So thank you very much for joining us. But yeah, JB, I believe you may have a few questions for.
Yeah, I do. And I think Curly would be happy to hear these comments, but were you slowing down for Curly to see, hang on, let's see what this boy can do?
No, I'll say straight off about fair play. Curly has got a bit of pace with no assists, and if that's his first time with no racing line, fair play. But no, it was more, I don't want to show too much, because I know some of my opponents might be looking and going, oh, he does that, or he does this, and yeah, change of strategy. But it was more seeing what the car could do in different areas.
Sandbagging.
So yeah, how many sandbags did you have in that cockpit with you?
I don't know, but I've got to say I know why Mr. Hamilton's picked now. That Red Bull is beautiful in the corners.
Well, no, I've got. I mean, we talked about it throughout the race as we saw that battle with yourself and Curly Whirly, and from a neutral sort of spectator point of view, it gave us a good opportunity of seeing what Curly Whirly was capable of, and that's where sort of the conversation went. Well, he's coming to get you, sort of. Not taking it easy, but sort of we discussed whether you were perhaps, like Jack said, sat there thinking, okay, well, I'll give you some space in the corners, let's see what you're made of. So when you were into that battle situation with him, what's sort of going through your mind? Is it, okay, I'm going to use this as practice for if you're side by side with somebody next week? Or was you thinking, as like Jack said, come on then, show me what you've got?
It's a bit of both, because obviously watching Curly in the other side with the assists, you know he's got pace, and then coming to the non-assist side, the driving style's completely different. As he said, tyre wear kicks in, starts to drive on ice. But yeah, it was a bit of both, DP. It was more, I need to see what my car can and can't do, because I know I'm going to be up a bit against a bit more consistent drivers next week that are pushing for championship points. So, but at the same time, yeah, I wanted to see what Curly really got defensively and are coming at me, and a couple of times my underwear nearly changed about 4 times when I swear he outbroke himself, and I was like, please no. So yeah, it's good fun, but I've got to say Curly's standards is acceptable, and I'd like to see him in the WC one day.
Okay, good stuff. WC GP
WCGP.
Yeah. You guys got any more questions for coming together?
No, because he shouldn't be here.
Well, I have one. And your name is now Breaking Clays, by the way.
Yes.
When you overtook him through the S section, were you planning that, or did it just think, oh, there's a gap there, I will take that?
It was a plan, because it was so close to the end, and you got a bit tight. And I thought I'd let him back through, being polite, but then I thought that cheeky little sod wants the DRS, he wants the advantage that way, so I thought...
I left it off there. I let you go.
Yeah. I thought, we'll see what the car's got in a straight line, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but for once I had straight line speed, so I made it difficult for the guy with a lower error.
I did notice that.
Okay. Well, good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Just to let you know, Steve, nobody on YouTube has had a guess at your question of the day today, but obviously we have been split up onto a couple of different streams. But I do just want to mention Tar Jam, Breaking Clays has sent a message saying good race. So compliments from Breaking Clays for you there. But yeah,
I'm sure you mean coming to get you.
Yeah, that's the one. I like your style, JB. You're getting into the swing of it. Yeah, GP, would you like to do question of the day? It would appear it's between us guys in the commentary box now.
Well, we're definitely not.
Okay, so the guy that crossed the finish line gets to answer it first, and seeing as coming to get you is in here, he has to answer it first. So the question of the day, how many race starts have there been by Mexicans in F1?
By well, I'd have a wild guess at about 100 and... No, I'm going to go say about 154.
Okay, okay. So second then is Curly. How many?
260, I'm gonna say.
Okay, Tarjam, go on, have a random guess. How many race starts have there been by Mexicans in F1?
220.
220. I'm making notes of these.
Somehow I think me and Dave may have lost.
Yes.
Dave said
it doesn't help when you're not properly listening to the question.
And,
I just went off
JB
Dave said.
4. Okay. As we've now done the question again, anyone on YouTube got an answer, or we just jump straight to the answer?
I'm just going to say this now.
Me and JB, sorry, hang on. Drew has just beaten me and JB by saying 3. I would just like to point out that I thought the question was how many Mexicans had started Grand Prix. So, like, as in, like, Sergio Perez is 1 and Rodriguez is 2. That's how I heard it in my clouded mind tonight.
I did that too, and I had a whole sort of like monologue about it, and I was so close to getting it right in my brain.
Okay, so just to give Dave, the answer to the question that you thought it was would have been 6, so you'd have been off anyway. There'd been 6 Mexicans, but how many race starts have there been by Mexicans? 303.
That's actually quite a lot.
Well, Sergio Perez has had 124 himself. And then you've got to remember there's Esteban Gutierrez, 59.
Yeah, he started it and then finished it on lap 1.
There was a guy called Hector, I don't know how to say his surname, Babaji or something like that, 58. And then you've got Pedro Rodriguez, 54. Ricardo Rodriguez, only 8. And another driver, Moises Solana or something.
This is probably going to get us in trouble with someone if we continue trying to say their names and butchering them.
Yeah. I'm not going to attempt to say their names again.
Yeah. Okay, guys, it's got quite late in the day. I don't know about you, but I'm knackered. I'm hungry. I think it's about time we wrap this up. Just want to finally mention again, there has been an important post put out on the Front Row Racing Facebook page yesterday, Tuesday, the 13th of June. Make sure you go and check that out. But also make sure you come and join us tomorrow for the Front Row Racing World Series Reserves, where we'll probably see Curly Whirly on track again, and a few of the other guys that have raced tonight, to see how they get on the assists allowed side of the league in the reserve event there. Could be a very exciting one. So yeah, make sure you come join us for that, 7:25 p.m. and hopefully we won't have the technical difficulties that we had today, although I'm sure there'll be a discussion in the background about the process on that one. So yeah, make sure you come join us for that, and then obviously the main events next Wednesday and next Thursday for the World Championship of Mexico on Wednesday from about 7:25 p.m. for the World Championship, and Thursday similar time for the World Series, so make sure you come and check out those. Anyway, I want to say thank you to Lord JB for putting on the live stream today. I think he's done a very good job, and also thank you to the drivers for taking part and for coping with the safety car restart in the best way that they could at the time. Okay, thanks guys.
Yeah, over to JB to sign us out then.
Oh yeah, you have to deal with my amazing racing tomorrow. Curly, are you actually going to see me?
Blue flags, mate.
I thought he was going to say, when I lap you. Oh, and if you think we bully you, Jack, we've got to beat him tomorrow now.
I may just, sort of mess up the blue flag situation, I might have a brake failure. I just don't know. Sod's law, knowing us it's going to be raining tomorrow.
sod's law, you'll both end up crashing into each other tomorrow, and you're going to have to explain to each other, I didn't do it on purpose, but you said you was going to do it. I didn't mean it. It was an accident. That'll be what happens tomorrow. Anyway, come on,
won't take
JB,
it against
sign us
either of
out,
us.
end the stream, let us go and have our dinner.
Yes, I will let Dave go have his dinner because he is clearly hungry, as the fact that he is chewing his desk. Again, thank you, everyone. Thanks for this opportunity, guys, and I hope that I do well tomorrow. I hope everyone does well in their next race. Thank you. I haven't ended it yet. I haven't pressed stop yet, that's the thing. Right, pressing stop now.